Hey, what's up guys? I'm Dan H and welcome back to the project. In the last video we took off the header panel of Project Beach Jeep. In this video we're going to remove the radiator and we're going to test it. Let me show you how we do it. Okay guys, so if you don't want to remove the header panel and you just need to take out the radiator, then you're going to start by taking off these 4 T30 Torx bits. This attaches the header panel support bracket to the radiator bracket. So since my header panel is already taken off and I don't need to remove the header panel support bracket, I'm just going to go right to taking off the radiator support bracket by removing these 8 10mm bolts. But before I do that, I got to take off the fan shroud and I'm going to take out the electric fan by removing these 4 8mm bolts. When you remove the 8mm bolts holding on the electric fan, you can just unplug it and the fan should slide right out. There we go. Now is also a great time to label any connectors. Man, this 8mm was really stuck on. Note to self, anti-seize. So this fan shroud is held on just like the electric fan. You got the 2 8mm up top and then the bottom has clips. So I'm just going to pull out from these clips and rest the shroud right on the fan. And then I'm going to move over to the radiator support brackets. Alright, so this 10mm bolt is really seized on. There's no good way at getting at it from the other side, so I'm going to be very careful not to break the clip that's holding this together. I'm going to heat it up with the torch because high temperatures are good for breaking the bonds of rust. Then I'm going to hit it with some PB Blaster and get back to it later. That worked like a charm. Don't even need the PB Blast. Woo, still hot. There we go. Once the radiator support bracket's out, the radiator is just sitting on pegs and grommets that thread through brackets in the condenser. See right there? You just lift up the radiator and you separate it from the AC condenser. One on either side. There you go. So this piece is your radiator, and this piece is your air conditioning condenser. But to get the radiator out, you're just going to undo the hose clamps that attach the lower radiator hose and the transmission cooling lines. One here at the bottom, and one here at the top. And that's it. This should come right out. fan shroud, fail. There we go. Now it's going to come right out. Okay guys, so the radiator is removed with the AC condenser still in the car. Here's a better look at that. Now this is where you find all the little screws that you drop behind your radiator when you're working on the car, like this. This is the grommets that the radiator and AC condenser sit in, so don't lose these. And this is the hole and the condenser that the peg slides through. Moving over here, now the fan shroud should come right out. And these are the tabs on the fan shroud. I think they're missing their metal clips. No worries. And these are the quick release tabs, and I'll show you how to disconnect these in 1 second. Now, before you go ahead and disconnect your AC system, you're going to want to make sure that it's depressurized. Now, this thing has been sitting for quite some time now. There's no pressure left in the system. The AC didn't even work. If you do have to depressurize your system, you should go to a licensed mechanic. There's a tab inside here with a little valve, and also in here with a little valve, and they'll depressurize your system and suck out all that nasty Freon. I don't think that stuff is the greatest for the environment, so they'll suck it out for you. When it's all depressurized and emptied of Freon, then you can start doing your disconnecting. Alright guys, once your system is professionally depressurized, you could go ahead and remove these safety clips. Then you can take your quick disconnects, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to push these two as far in together as you can and slide in the quick disconnects. Now this is going to release the lock that's on here, and it's going to let you slide it right back out. And there's two. Alright, here is the condenser and the radiator that we took out of the beach Jeep. And over here we have the condenser and the radiator that we took out of the parts car. Now one thing Beach Jeep is missing is these little fasteners that hold together the condenser and the radiator. So I'm going to take these off now and keep these safe in a jar. Alright, so now we're down to just two radiators. We're down to Beach Jeep radiator and parts car radiator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a way that we could pressure test these to see if at least one of them is still good. I just remembered an important thing. Now if you replace your radiator, do not throw out these rubber bushings. It's very important because the new ones don't come with them. So you're going to have to reuse these. Alright, so I'm out here with my homemade radiator tester. What I did was I capped off my lower radiator line and I ran a garden hose to my upper radiator line. I'm going to fill this whole thing full of water until all the air bubbles come out of the overflow tube. Then I'm going to cap it off. Hopefully there will be no leaks, and then I can move on and test the parts car radiator. Okay, so I've been running this thing for about 2 minutes now, and all the air is out of the system, and I got nice clean water coming out of the overflow line. I'm not even going to cap it off because I could already see a leak. so this thing's no good. If you want to try this test on your own, it's important to take note of the PSI rating on your radiator cap. You don't want to exceed it, because if you have a good one, you don't want to blow out your radiator. Now, I'm kind of winging mine. I don't have a water pressure regulator hooked up to this thing, but kind of how I gauged this was, I know that water pressure runs through a garden hose at about 40 psi per 50 feet. So I have about a 50-foot garden hose, so I back that down to a little bit less than half the pressure on my dial. So it's kind of guesstimating in the 16 to 20 psi area. All of that doesn't matter right now because this one's leaky anyway. Let me show you a good look at that. Okay, we got the parts car radiator hooked up. Now we're going to run this one. Okay, so I got water leaking everywhere, but none of it's coming from this radiator. So thank you to the parts car. I'm glad I got to salvage one good radiator. This one from the Project Beach Jeep is toast. This is getting chucked, but this one's going to get put back in when the time comes. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, give me some comments, and I'll see you on the next project.